Hey guys, how's it going? Today we are going to be planting up 4 containers. I got my hands on some beautiful plants. We're going to be starting here with the Galloway urn, which is a part sun container, and then we're going to move over to the raised bed vegetable garden, and we're going to do the 3 pots in that area, which are full sun. Check out these beautiful flowers. I'm so excited about this, you guys. Our first summer containers. So we've got the Charmed Wine Oxalis, the Diamond Snow Euphorbia. We've got the Bright Lights Purple Osteospermum. This is the Sparkling Amethyst. Yes, Superbena. It's a beautiful one. The Sparkling Amethyst and the Imperial Blue are my favorite Superbenas, hands down. We've got the Supertunia Latte, Supertunia Jazzberry. This one is Supertunia Lovey Dovey. It's funny, I've never been a huge fan of striped petunias, but I used one in that Misty Seas recipe from Proven Winners last year, and it was in with Supertunia Mini Vista Indigo and Mini Vista White, and it was so pretty. It kind of made me fall in love with it. So I'm gonna try it in a kind of pink combination this year. We've also got the Carolee Petite Pink Gara. The Cordylands, this is the Ruby, which has got the beautiful variegation. I actually don't think I'm going to use these in today's containers, as well as the Supertunia Persimmon, but these look beautiful together, so I had to pick them up. I've also got a Plectranthus as well. This is the variegated Swedish Ivy. I had these with black petunias, coleus, and some Sun Patience White last year, and it was beautiful. All of these containers have to be cleaned out, which I need to do. So this one has had a couple of different flower arrangements in it. We put in fresh soil probably last spring. This is not a huge reservoir, so I want to replace the soil, start with fresh so that it's full of goodies for the plants to feed off of. I'll also be putting a slow release fertilizer in here as well. So let's start by clearing this one out, then we'll get it planted up. Oh, you guys, it looks so pretty. Look at that. So I ended up with 3 of our white geraniums as a centerpiece, and they're all budded up and ready to bloom. It's so exciting. So once they start going for it, you know, geraniums, they just bloom all through the season, and that will be the only maintenance that we have with this container other than our routine fertilizing, because geraniums do need to be deadheaded. And I was going back and forth between using this Helichrysums Icicle or the white geraniums, because like this would bring instant impact. It's really beautiful, but this is pretty much all it does in this season. It does bloom sporadically, and it goes really well with this color scheme. You know, when you use those whites and creams, it looks really pretty to have that blue tone. But the blooms are yellow, so I feel like I'd have to pop those blooms off, and I kind of want it to be, I don't know, I think the white will pop more. So we did a complete soil refresh. I put the slow release fertilizer in there, which is heat activated. You can see the little granules right here. It lasts for like 6 to 8 weeks. But we do fertilize on a weekly basis anyway with water soluble fertilizer. And then I went in, I've got the 3 Supertunia Lattes, which you might be thinking I'm crazy for putting 3 in here, but these do not perform like Supertunia Vistas will. If I was to go with the Vista, you could put just 1 of those plants in this container and it would completely take over. The straight Supertunias, while they're very productive and vigorous growers as well, some more than others, I have found that Supertunia Latte is much more amenable to working with other plants. Like it doesn't take over quite as much and, you know, bully other things out. So I'm really looking forward to it. Also, this container, while it's in the shade right now in the morning, it will get full afternoon sun. So it's not going to have sun all day long. So those Supertunias might stay a little bit smaller because of that. Same with the Plectranthus. These tend to get quite large, so we're going to have to keep this one pruned a little bit, but I love the bright white variegation. And then this is going to be a trial. I have planted this one before, did not have like the best results with it because we just are so hot here, but I planted it on this side of the container, so it will be shaded in the afternoon. So essentially it should get shade all the time, which I think it will like, and I love the color. It's not often where you can put these 2 together. I love the colors of these because the throat of the latte is the same as this oxalis. And then we've got the Diamond Snow Euphorbia, which right now is like the most glorious looking plant in this whole container, but these don't get super huge, so it's gonna be perfect, I think. So that's 1 container down. Let's head toward the vegetable garden. Now, Benny's guys are working on the brick patio right now, so they've got a bunch of trucks in the area and it might be a little bit noisy, but I thought I'd give you a little look at what the containers are looking like right now, which is rough. And then we'll get them cleaned out and planted. Whew, lots of activity. Okay, so these 2 containers right here and that one. Last fall, I put some autumn joycetum, which you can see they're looking really good still. We're gonna pop those out and plant them in the landscape. And then I had Rudbeckia. There is a perennial miscanthus, but I don't think it made it. And then some other things. So helichrysum looks like. Anyway, we're gonna clean everything out so that we can start with fresh soil as well. And then this center container has a Lemon Beauty Lonicera, which we will also transplant out, and some Heucherella. Can't remember, is this hopscotch variety? Anyway, they're looking pretty good, flesh and back, but I want to put something else in here. I need to restain this too at some point. It's kind of turned back to its pink color. It's either last year or the year before I stained this, and it was so pretty. It kind of had more of a brown tone to it. Okay, so clean out and planting. Here we go. Can you guys hear my chickens? I think they must be laying an egg. One of them is anyway. These are done and they look really good. I did not use very many plants in these front pots because I have a Supertunia Vista in there. It's the Vista Jazzberry and a Superbena, which both are very vigorous. So I did leave some space in this one. So they're both the same. So in the center, we have a Carolee Petite Pink Gaura, which they grow 12 to 24 inches tall. And I don't know if you guys remember, but last year I loved the containers in front of this vegetable garden. I used the recipe called Acapulco Sun, and it had a Stratosphere White Gaura as the centerpiece. First time I've ever used Gaura as a centerpiece in a container. And at first I thought, oh, am I gonna like this? Is it gonna look a little bit too messy? Because you know, I usually like a little bit of formality, and I loved it. It brought such a magic, like such a whimsy to this area, and it was surrounded by Supertunia Bermuda Beach, Superbena Peachy Keen, and a Superbells. I think it was Coralina, and it was such a pretty blend. So I'm very excited about this Carolee Petite Pink. It does stay smaller than the Stratosphere White, but I think the color is going to be really nice, and the leaves do have a little bit of red in them. Reddish pink. I don't know. I think that'll bring a little bit more interest. And then in the front here, Superbena Sparkling Amethyst will totally fill in this front part. Will probably go all the way to the ground. We have the Lovey Dovey on this side, which is the pink and white stripe, and then we have the Jazzberry Vista on this side. And the Vistas, you know, grow huge. So this one will be big, probably trailing on the ground. We'll have to trim it. But I grew a bunch of the Jazzberry last year, and I really like it. I like the intense, cool color tone it has. I think it's really pretty. And then in the center here, kept things pretty simple. Again, I've got 3 of the Bright Lights Purple, which these don't get super big, maybe about 12 inches tall, maybe a tiny bit bigger than that. But I don't want anything super huge. I really like the view through here, and I don't want anything too tall to obscure that. So this will just be the perfect amount of color, and it looks so pretty with the Sparkling Amethyst Superbena, which we used 3 of. It should be a really pretty show, and just having the 2 different kinds of plants in here I think will be really striking. This year I'm planning on using quite a bit more Superbena in our landscape because we don't have to spray it for budworms, and it performs really well. Especially, like I said, the Sparkling Amethyst and the Imperial Blue have been the absolute best for us. All right guys, I think we are going to tackle the 2 great big urns out in the south garden. Aaron went out there to see if he could get the tractor into them still, because I really like to run drip to them, but that's where the rest of these plants will go. And my battery's blinking. Hopefully it lasts for the rest of this project. So it's that urn right there, which I think we still have access to with the tractor, so that's great. Question is, can we get to that urn? Let's go take a look. Oh, I think the path is still open. Yay, open enough. There's a few tulips in the way, but last year we brought the tractor right through this area to get the urn there. I think the tractor will fit in here.
Yeah, I kind of think we could just tip it though. You want to try it just real quick? Just see like how hard it is to tip?
You or me?
Well, I'll do it.
Okay, tip it. There's no hole. There's no drain hole.
I'm glad we didn't get the tractor.
The pillar, the base of this whole unit right here, does not have a hole to put the drain or to put the drip tube down through. So I think what I'm going to do is go get our diamond tile drill bit and just notch out enough space underneath this urn to where we can still run the tube. You'll be able to see it out the back of the pillar, but it will look a lot better than running out the back. Oh, ladybug. Oh, cute. It'll look a lot better than having black tubing hanging out the back of the entire thing. So let me go do that. Just thrilled that those yuccas are gone out of these containers. They were a nice low maintenance option for a little while, but it's going to be really fun to see some color in these. These were the urns back in the north garden, you know, the one right by the barn. They were kind of plunked in the middle of the grassy area, and I loved them back there. And the reason I put yuccas in them at that time, so this is years ago, like 4 or 5 years ago, was because there was no way, I forgot that there was no way to get drip up through the base of the pillar that these urns are sitting on. And so I knew I'd have to drag a hose out to these urns every single day, and one of them was particularly hard to get to. So I thought, well, I'm gonna just put yuccas in them and they'll get a little overspray from the grass sprinklers, but that's how they're gonna have to survive. And they actually did beautifully when they were back there. When we brought them up here, you know, they just really didn't get any water, so they looked pretty bad. So let me show you our drip solution. If you look up here, you can see the drip tube. It comes down through the pot, and then I just took a real long drill bit. You can see these are already deteriorating anyway. This one worse than the other one, but it was really easy. All I had to do was make a little notch about this far to make it to the bottom where the tube would come out, and it's perfect. So I was able to come down, and you know, it's not ideal to be able to see tubing, but it's better than it coming from the top, and it's a heck of a lot better than dragging a hose out every single day. So it comes down, landscape staple to the ground, and then it goes over and taps right into our drip system. And aren't these just the most beautiful together? I was able to trial this one. I think this is brand new out this year, but I was able to get it early, the Supertunia Persimmon, and it did beautifully. So it's just gonna fill in and drape over. It's gonna be so pretty. Kind of has a tropical vibe to it, but I think the colors are perfectly mirrored in this one. I think it's just gonna be so fun. And this one can get upwards of 4 feet tall. So we'll see. I mean, these arrangements are gonna get plenty of sun. Let's go take a look at the other one. Right in there. It's so wild to me that I'm looking at Supertunias in this container and tulips that are as fresh as can be back there. Those just started to open up 2 days ago. And the daffodils, these were the first to bloom for us, so they're starting to fade. But most of our daffodils are in peak bloom right now, just absolutely gorgeous. And some of them are even still in bud form, like they're not even open yet. It's just crazy to me this year. And we are supposed to cool down next week. So today's like 83. All of next week we're in the low 60s as our high, but our low isn't going to go below 40. So I think we should be all right. So same thing here, just a repeat. I think it's going to be a really fun, bright spot over here. I'm just loving it and loving seeing something fresh and not half dead in these containers. That's always helpful. And you guys, that is it for today's video. What a fun morning, getting out there and putting some color in containers, cleaning out the kind of crummy looking stuff. I'm just loving it. And this is just like kind of the beginning because we've got so many containers to do, and Aaron really wants to get the hay racks back out this year and do a project with those. So it's just going to be a fun time, and I have a feeling we'll probably be going well into June this year just with the weather being the way it is, but that's fine by me. So again, as far as care goes, these are all on a drip system, clearly. Most of them get water every single day. These urns we'll have to watch because we're going to try to back off on our drips out here. We're going to try to run them a little bit longer but less often. These containers might be fine with that. We might have to supplement a little bit, so it's just one of those things. We fertilize every single week with the Proven Winners water soluble fertilizer. We like that one because it has the EDDHA chelated iron in it, which our plants, because we're so high pH, they really need that in order to stay nice and deep green. And then we do have to spray Super Tunias and Super Bells with BT or Captain Jack's Dead Bug, one of the two, once a week to keep the budworms at bay. So that's what it is. I don't think there's any maintenance that we put in other than the geraniums in terms of deadheading, so they should be pretty easy. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and we will see you in the next video. Bye.